Tonight we hear from one of the most senior figures in the party, Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham, for his take on the push and pull for power and where he parts from fellow Mayor Sadiq Khan's environmental plans. Sadiq Khan, of course, Mayor of London. Mr Burnham sat down with our political editor, Kate McCann, who began by asking about proposals to close train ticket offices across the country.
Well, I can't accept the right of these companies to carry on taking a profit out of the railway system while they constantly are cutting back services and providing chaotic services at times. The whole railway system isn't working. It works for them because they keep making a profit, but it doesn't work for everyone else. You know, we pay sky-high prices for our tickets in this country. Are we saying that customers don't even deserve a basic service like a ticket office where they can go and buy those tickets? Where is our money going given the prices that we pay for fares in this country? The answer is actually rail renationalisation. That is the answer. This is a system where the travelling public and the taxpayer are getting a very seriously poor deal, and the train operators are getting a very seriously good deal.
I mean, part of what's happening as a result of this, in areas like yours, but also around the rest of the country, is that people are turning to their cars. I mean, it's sparking a conversation about low emission charges. It's certainly happening in London, it's happening in Bradford, there's a conversation going on in lots of cities around the UK. Why have you held off introducing a ULEZ style charge in your area?
Because we don't have a public transport system here that is as attractive an alternative to the car. Therefore, people are more trapped, if you like, in travelling by car. But when we kind of took a scheme that had been devised pre-pandemic and it landed in the world post-pandemic, where vehicle prices had gone up and the wait to get a new vehicle had got much longer, we were not prepared to carry on and let our residents be hit with charges that they couldn't avoid. And we're in a stalemate still with the government about this. We want an incentive-led approach. The government are still saying they want a charging scheme on the city centre, and currently we can't agree about that.
So is Sadiq Khan, the London mayor, wrong to introduce or broaden his own charging scheme? Should he be thinking about incentives? Because in Greater London, the areas where this is being widened out to, the transport offer is not the same as in central London, and exactly the same issues face those people as are faced in Manchester.
I think Sadiq's situation is different from the one we have here, but I can only talk to my approach, and I took the decision with the 10 leaders that we couldn't defend an approach where we would leave people with charges that they couldn't avoid, and there was no alternative for them, and hence the decision we took to pause the scheme. I just think more broadly, we need to move to a situation where we make public transport much more attractive. Around Europe, people are lowering the cost of public transport. They are incentivizing people to use it. We seem to be going in the opposite direction here, where we're kind of taking funding out of the rail system, kind of reducing it to its bare bones. I just think that's the wrong way to go.
Is it right, do you think, I mean, you're a mayor, that your leader, your party leader, Keir Starmer, is telling Sadiq Khan what to do as the Mayor of London?
I'm not aware that is what is happening, but I would expect, and actually I did have certainly conversations with the deputy leader of the Labour Party when we were in those discussions last year with the government. So I didn't in any way resent that. You know, I think the party at a national level will want to understand what's going on, and you know would want to be involved.
But it's not devolved power in the true sense, is it? If the leader of the party is meeting with the Mayor of London and saying, because of what happened to us in Uxbridge, because of the fact that Labour didn't get over the line, we'd like you to think again about your policies.
Well, I think devolution is all about people in local places taking the decision that's right for that area, and Sadiq has definitely done that in London, and I've made my decision. I'm sure Sadiq has made his decisions, and there isn't any attempt to overrule us. We do act in that way. There will just be on occasion, though, those issues that are, you know, have a higher degree of political salience, and you would expect to have a discussion with colleagues at a national level. But I think Sadiq's work works on the same principle that I do, which is it's place first, and that's what matters in these jobs. You've got to do what's right for your place. and you obviously work with the party nationally, but at the end of the day, that's your priority.
When it comes to green issues and the electorate, the next general election, things like ULEZ clearly don't necessarily play well with the public in all cases. The party's talking about going green, but also talking about pulling back at the same time. I mean, that tension is quite difficult to navigate.
Well, I think that issue is one that everyone is wrestling with all of the time, both at this level and increasingly at a national level. And personally, I think we will get more people behind the drive to net zero, the more we can show it's in their individual interest to do it. So it's not sort of a kind of big stick approach to net zero or a lecturing approach. It is more an incentive approach, that you help people with lower cost public transport, or you give them lower energy bills if they can get help to retrofit their home. I think that's the way to go here.
Do you think at the moment that Labour is operating fairly? I mean, Jamie Driscoll, a mayoral colleague of yours, has said that he ought to have been given the right to appeal. He's not been allowed to stand, of course, for the Labour Party. Do you agree that he should have been given that right?
So I'm on the record as saying that. It seems to me that is a principle that should apply. I do think, obviously the arrival of mayors is still quite a new thing. I think there is work still to be done to ensure that we've got the sort of the balance right within the Labour Party as to what is the mayor's role and what's the mayor got the right to push forward through a devolved approach, but at the same time also having those kind of party rules that recognise the position of a sitting mayor. So there's work still to be done in that space, I think.
Andy Burnham, thank you very much.